we have seen this four component where we seen this set variable, set payload, and then we seen this choice router. Okay, and then we seen the logger component. Okay, now let me go to that application what we developed recently, that is calculator one. So where is that calculator? This one. So here we worked on this calculator API. Okay, and as per like discussion. Okay, so here need to create one operation variable, and then I told you to create two more variable for first number and second number. Correct? So let, let me create. Actually, I haven't created, so let me also create. One more variable. Second number. Okay, so what I did so far, there are three variable. Let me put logger at the very beginning. So logger will print the start logger. Then we are taking operation value from the query parameter and storing inside this variable. We are taking first name from the payload and we are storing inside this variable. We are taking second name from this payload and we are storing inside this variable. Okay. Why we are doing this? Since all these three things we are using at multiple places. Okay. So whenever you have such kind of requirement, which you will use at multiple places, okay, it's better to store inside the variable. So if there will be any change in future, then you just need to update the variable. You don't need to update at multiple places. Okay. So here what I did first here, instead of taking operation from the attributes query parameter, I took from the variable. So whatever that will come inside that particular query parameter operation name, same value we stored inside this variable. So now we are taking from variable. And this where's dot is a keyword. If you want to use any variable, you need to use keyword where's dot and then variable name. We are comparing is it add, then result will be, now we are not taking value from the payload dot first name. We already stored that payload dot first name inside this variable. Okay, inside this variable. So we are taking value from this variable. Same for second name, we are taking from this variable. Okay, so in this way, like this calculator we did. Now let me run this first. So deployed. Just received and we stopped at logger. For next, so logger executed, start logger done. Then this three variable got created. First name 20, operation where sub second where 10. Okay, so we created three variable with their values. Now it will check the operation. So first one is add, it will not match. Second is sub, it will match here. Went for sub. Okay, and here what it will do? It will add those two variables. So what is the value of those two variables? 20 plus 10, 30. So oh, minus was there. 20 minus 10. So result will be 10. Okay. And then it will print the logger. And logger. Then completed the process and you will get response here. So far, everyone clear? Anyone has any doubt?
Clear, Ravi.
Okay. What about others?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Clear, Ravi.
Yeah, no doubt, Ravi.
Okay. So now what we will do? See here what we did. To create three variable, I use three component. Okay. In this way, if I will do, let's say I want to create five variable, then I need to create five set variable. So our code length will increase too much. Okay. So many times you will have complex requirement and you need to create multiple variables and all. If you will do like this, then your code length will increase. So what better way we can do? Instead of using three times set variable, we can use one transform message, this transform message. Okay. So what is the advantage of this transform message? This transform message can be used to create n number of variable and one payload. Okay. If you want to create multiple variables and maximum one payload you cannot create multiple, only one payload. So if you want to create multiple variables and one payload in one place, okay, then what you can do, instead of using multiple set variable and one set payload, you can use single transform message. Okay, this single transform message has capability to create multiple variable in one place. Okay, so how we will create, we'll see. So first, what we are doing here, we are creating this variable. So copy this name. Okay. Go to transform message. So whenever you will drag and drop transform message, automatically it will create one payload. Okay, this is the default behavior of transform message. Automatically it will create one payload. But at this moment, do we need to create payload? No, since we are creating only three variable. Payload we are creating here. Okay, that is not with this three component. That payload is after choice router. Okay, if it will be here only, then we will create payload also. But that is not here. That is after the choice. Okay, so we cannot create here. So here what we can do, we can create three variable in transform message. So first one I copied. So here I don't need payload. So what I will do, click on edit. In drop down, change it to variable. Give the variable name. Click on OK. We have two options, inline and file. We will discuss in detail later on. At this moment, just a little bit default one. Click on OK. So now we have one variable and value of that, what will be value of that variable? Value will be this. Okay, so first variable we created. And now what we can do, we can delete this variable. Okay, If you want to delete this variable, there are two ways. You can delete it permanently. One way, you can delete it permanently. And another way, you can just comment out the code. Okay. So here you can see toggle comment. Okay. So what exactly it means? I haven't deleted, but this code will not be part of this application. When this will run, this component will not run. Sometime, let's say in future, sometime like when you will develop your API, you created some replacement, like you created some other thing, which will be, so what we are doing here, instead of this, we are creating this. Okay. But I haven't tested this. Is it working as expected or not? Until unless I will not sure this is working as expected, I will not delete it. So what I will do, I will simply comment out this. Once I will do testing and it's working fine, then I will delete it. Hope everyone clear. So we have option of toggle comment. Now I will create this variable. So at that time, like first time, we replace the payload with the variable. But now what we need to do, we need to create new. So here in drop down, you will able to see only one variable. So now this time I want to create new. So here you can see plus symbol. Click on plus symbol. What you want to create? Variable. What is the name of the variable? This. Click on OK. Okay. So this variable created here, and from where it will get value, this is the value. While giving value, okay, you can give this, you can keep this also, and then you can put that here. Okay. Or if you want, you can simply remove everything and you can put like this. Both will work. Okay. Anything is fine. So this one will be more simple. So use this one. You need that particular format where you will have output, application, JSON and all. When you need exactly JSON format, but this is not JSON format. We are retrieving data from this, and that data is string data or integer data. Okay, so that piece of code, it's not mandatory to write that piece of code. It's up to you. So I will suggest to use directly here in this way. So whatever value will come, that will be assigned to this first name variable. Save it. And I will comment this one also. We have second num val. Yeah. So here what we did, we created three variable. First, let me save this. We created three variable: operation variable, first name variable, second name variable. Okay, so you can create n number of variable here, and you can create maximum one payload. Okay, so this one also got created here. So let's comment this one also. Okay, now this three set variable, we did toggle comment, means this is now not part of our code. Their code is there, but that code will not execute. It's a commented out. Okay. Everyone getting this, no? This code is there, but that is not in use. Okay. Means we can do permanent delete. We can permanently delete it, but sometime like when you will do something as a replacement of that component and you are not confident that new component will work as expected, you may revert back to previous component. In that case, we should use this option. In my case, like why I haven't, I am confident here, but why I haven't deleted, I want to show you difference. Okay, see here, previously we were creating 3 component and now we have only 1 component and both of them are serving same purpose. In this 3 component, I was creating 3 variable. In transform message, I am creating 3 variable. Okay. So in this particular case, this transform message is much more helpful. Then you will see when we will use set variable. If you are in your project, you need to set only maximum 1 or 2 variable, then you should go with set variable. Otherwise, go with transform message. Okay. Only for, let's say in your code somewhere you need to set 1 variable. In that case, you use the set variable. But if you need multiple, like 2, 3 variables, then you should use transform message. Hope everyone clear. So let me test it. Deployment done. Request received. We'll click on next. We'll go to transform message. Click on next. So you will able to see what this 3 component used to do earlier. This transform message did same thing. It created 3 variable. First number 20, operation sub, second number 10. Okay. And then it will do rest of the task. Let me know anyone has any doubt. Everyone clear on this?
Yes, right.
Yes, Ravi.
Okay. So here you can see whenever we are creating any new project, okay, let me do it. Whenever you will create mule project, okay, automatically this XML file will be created. Okay. And if you want to use any component inside this mule configuration, this is known as mule configuration file. If you will create drag and drop any component, automatically flow will be created. So let's say there are two ways. One is you directly drag and drop the listener. Automatically, it will create the mule app. You can see this flow got created. This is the one way. Or second way, what you can do. First, you drag and drop this flow. Okay. And then you drag and drop the listener. See, both are same. Here, directly I drag and drop the listener. And here, first I drag and drop the flow and then I drag and drop the listener. Okay. So if you want to use any Mulesoft component, you must need to create this flow. Okay. Without flow or subflow, not only flow, without flow or subflow, you will not use or define any Mulesoft component. It must be adapted by flow or subflow. For error handling, we have three components. For those components, it need error handler scope. Okay. But apart of that, whatever component you will define, that must be wrapped by flow or subflow. Here we are discussing about the flow. So in flow, you can see we have three parts: source, process, and error handler. So whenever we define this flow, it has three parts: source, this is the source, this is the processor, and this is the error handler. In source, we define the entry point of our API, from where our API will start. Okay. So here we are going to expose our API as a REST API. So what will be entry point of our API? REST API. So how we will define this entry point? We will use HTTP connector listener operation. Okay. You cannot put other operation. Other operation cannot be entry point. Only listener operation can be entry point. When we are exposing our API, we are using HTTP listener operation, and that only can be entry point. Similar to this HTTP REST API, we have some scheduler API, we have some event-driven API. Scheduler API means those kind of API will run automatically at particular time. Okay, that is the scheduler API. So scheduler can also be entry point. Okay, since scheduler will decide when our API will start its execution. Same way, some event-driven API are there. Means some API will start. Yeah, some API will start their execution from the database, from the file system, from the Salesforce system. So for those system also, how they will initiate if there will be any new record in database. or if there is any update in the existing record in the database, then our API will be auto triggered. Okay, so those kind of API is known as event driven. Whenever there will be event, our API will execute. Let's say any change in Salesforce data or any new data is inserted in Salesforce, we want to sync that data to another system. So that kind of API will also be event driven. Whenever there will be any event in Salesforce, it will trigger the API. Okay, so we will discuss all those kind of API, but in source, you can only keep the entry point. If you want to put any other thing, it will not work. So when I kept listener in source, it worked, but when I am trying to put requester, see it will not allow to put. It's coming red. But if I will put in processor, you can see it's coming as a blue. Requester you can use in processor, but you cannot use in the source. Since this is requester is not a entry point. Entry point is only listener. Okay. So source will have entry point. Processor will have all those components which have the business logic. Okay, you can use connector, you can use component like we already used set variable, set payload, transform message, choice router, set payload, logger component. So all those we use to achieve the business logic. So we can put inside the processor. Okay. And next we have error handler. Okay, this one we will discuss later on. At this moment, it might be a bit difficult. So let's have some more basic learning, then we will go for error. Okay, everyone clear with the flow? What is flow? Practically, we will do in next class. So today we will end with this flow only. And from tomorrow, I will try to take a bit more class. Actually, I'm expecting today I will be better. So from tomorrow, we will have normal classes for 1 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes like that.
Ravi, for event driven, what component we can take?
Just you got what is event driven?
Yes, I got event driven, but
Don't
if
go
we,
in detail. Okay, at this moment, I will suggest don't go. We will have separate discussion for that. Okay, just to understand the source, I took that one example. Don't go in depth since we will have dedicated session for that, and that understanding need lots of things. Okay.
okay,
Do you
Ravi.
get me? Yeah. Okay, fine then. Thanks everyone for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.